Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. I'm your digital host, Tatyana White, and welcome back to another episode of the 48 Recap, which is the one stop shop to catch up on some of the top news stories of the week, including the latest on a manhunt that led to the arrest of a 20-year-old connected with the murder of an Alabama A&M student. The city of Arab was scammed out of hundreds of dollars, Limestone County residents dealing with dirty water for almost a week, a teacher shortage in the Shoals area, a former 48 News anchor made it back home after being in Israel during the Iran attacks, medical cannabis coming to Alabama, the Sheffield mayor is back after a medical scare, weekend events, and more. And so I hope you all are having a great weekend so far. I see that Brianna, she is on, and thank you so much for tuning in. She is one of our TVL hosts. She does her TVL streaming show, so you can catch her every weekday at around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And she's also just one of our behind the scenes girlies for TVL. So thank you, Brianna, for tuning in. And we also have a question about the forecast. And so right now, the storms are not coming into the Tennessee Valley area till around 2 or 3 o'clock. And so our meteorologist, Jeff Denoyers, he's actually here right now. He's on standby just in case he needs to get on live or anything like that. So he will cut in at any point if he needs to come in. And then also forecaster Jada Russell will also be coming in soon as well. And we'll also have meteorologist, I think Eric Burke is also coming in too. So we're all set if anything happens major. Our meteorologist team will be coming in soon. And so I know the weather looks a little gloomy, a bit rainy. Storms are coming in soon. Again, possibly around 2 or 3 o'clock. And so I'm doing this recap show a little bit earlier than usual this Saturday, so our meteorologist can come join you all live and get through on our streams if the weather starts getting severe. But as of right now, still about 2 hours out. Again, today is a 48 first alert weather day due to those possibility of strong storms this afternoon, starting again at around 2. So stay tuned with our app, live stream, social media. Make sure you have your post notifications on to get any notifications about that. And I hope you all are able to go ahead and get your errands and everything out the way before those storms and rain start to come in, and you can just enjoy a day inside. Because I know usually Saturday and Sundays are those days for errand days for people. I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays, so I usually am able to run my errands on those days when it's less crowded in the stores. But hopefully you can get everything you need to get done before it starts. Again, you guys probably have about 2 hours before the rain and the storms really start to pick up in our area. But let's get into this weekend's recap. So one of our top news stories that we've been following for a few days now that is right out of Huntsville. Huntsville police, they found the man wanted for the murder of an Alabama A&M student at a Julia Street apartment after a manhunt. And so 20-year-old Ahmaud Barney was taken into custody and arrested on Friday afternoon. And so police, they flooded a gas station on Shields Road yesterday, and they launched drones, canines, all in the search for Barney, who was wanted in connection with the murder of 19-year-old Nadia Perkins. On Friday, during the manhunt for the suspect, Huntsville police officers, they swarmed the Shoals Road area where he was last seen, and where, they were looking for him in that area in the nearby woods. And so nearby schools, they were put on lockdown, and a lot of different areas were on the lookout for Barney, all in hopes for finding this murder suspect. And Perkins was found dead on Wednesday at around 9 a.m. after Huntsville police officers responded to an apartment complex at the intersection of Julia Street and University Drive after they received a shots-fired call. Madison County Coroner Dr. Tyler Berryhill, he later confirmed to us on Wednesday that Perkins did die from injuries that she sustained in a shooting, and her death was ruled a homicide. And witnesses said they heard about 5 gunshots that day, then a woman screaming for her life. And so on Friday, police were told that Barney was at that Chevron gas station on the corner of Shields and Jordan Road, and then they said Barney took off. An officer said that search for Barney lasted for over 2 hours. And so when 48 News crews, when they first arrived, we saw one man was getting handcuffed, but it's still not clear what that man's connection is to this case specifically. And law enforcement wasn't just searching for a wanted man, but they wanted justice for the family of Alabama A&M student Nadia Perkins, whose family told us she was loved by so many people.
Our next step in this.
Hold on, sorry. Let me get you guys.
He's been arrested. He's been booked in. Is justice for the Perkins family, right? They have a 19-year-old girl that lost her life to a tragic incident. So the next part of this is working with the Madison County District Attorney's Office and providing the evidence that they need to hold him accountable for the actions that he did.
And Huntsville police officials, they also told us that the suspect and the victim had a relationship that qualifies as domestic. And they also confirmed to us that there was an altercation in the home that ended in her death. And so 20-year-old Barney is still being processed at the jail at this point. We don't know if they will release his mugshot because of his age. We also dug a little more into Ahmaud Barney, and court records show that Barney lives on Julia Street in Huntsville, the same road where Nadia Perkins was shot and killed this week. And so back in December, Barney was indicted on a charge of receiving a stolen gun and is currently out on bond. Barney, who turns 21 in just 2 days, filed for youthful offender status but was denied just 2 weeks ago. Barney has a hearing scheduled for that stolen gun coming up next month in April, but it's now unclear with this new murder charge that is to come if that will affect that current date for the stolen gun. And so he has a court-appointed attorney for that stolen gun case, but WAFF 48 crews have called the attorney and we're waiting on their comment on this new arrest. We'll, of course, keep you updated right here at WAFF when we learn more. And my heart just continues to go out to the Perkins family during this difficult time. I know with her body being found on Wednesday and then the manhunt 2 days later, and then it was a long road to finally getting his arrest. And so I know that was a lot for the family. And so my heart just continues to go out to them during this difficult time. And the city of Arab is out of hundreds of thousands of dollars that was lost in a scam. The scammers in this case, they pose as the construction company building the city's new rec center. City leaders said someone impersonated a construction company working with the city, and that's when city leaders sent the payment to the scammer, leading to more than $400,000 meant for construction fell into the wrong hands. The chief of police said the city is trying to catch the scammer and hopefully recover the stolen money.
During this investigation, I spoke to the FBI, Homeland Security, the Secret Service Agency, and also ALEA. They were informing me that they're starting to see this trends nationwide as far as municipalities falling victims to these phishing scams.
He says if you receive a suspicious email tied to wiring money, double check and make a call to confirm it's going to the right place. And in Limestone County, residents are still seeing issues with their water for a 6th day. As you can see, sediment is dirtying up the water used for bathing and drinking. Leaders with the Limestone County Water Authority said it began earlier this week when a new pipe was installed. Once they turned the water on, the pipe backfired dirt and sediment into the water system. Now they are encouraging residents to flush out every pipe in their homes to bring back clear water. But some say they're not seeing a difference and they want more information on the situation.
I think we just deserve answers. If they did something wrong or an employee broke something or what, then just tell us. I think we'd be a lot more sympathetic than I think that they're assuming we would be. I'm honestly more upset that they haven't been telling us the truth.
The Limestone County Water Authority will be passing out cases of water to those affected at the East Limestone Fire Department until 1 p.m. this afternoon. And leaders with Florence City Schools and Lawrence County Schools want to hire people with experience, but most don't have a degree in education. Lawrence County Superintendent Dr. John Brett Smith says it's harder to get applicants right now, especially after the board denied a head coach candidate for East Lawrence because he wasn't certified.
In a teacher shortage, making sure that we have high quality people in every classroom and to make sure that our kids are taken care of. I'm afraid if we set some strict boundaries of only having people that are properly certified, we'll have vacancies in the fall that are not filled.
School leaders say the State Board of Education is continuing to add more pathways for candidates to receive certification. So just adding different things for people to become qualified to teach. And Governor Kay Ivey has also recently signed a law to help as well. So beginning in October, eligible military veterans will be able to receive temporary teaching certificates to help address Alabama's teacher shortage. And the scramble to get out of a war zone swept up a number of Americans trying to get back home as the attacks continue on Iran. And so former 48 News anchor Lee Marshall was in Israel last week when she was forced to take shelter after the attacks happened. But thankfully, after a long few days, she has returned home safely. And Marshall, who is also the CEO of the Kids to Love Foundation, was in Israel with 117 other women for a leadership conference. She was there when the American attacks on Iran began, and Marshall spent 2 days going in and out of an Israeli bomb shelter, and she escaped Israel by taking a 25-hour bus ride through Egypt before flying to England, then New York. But Marshall finally returned home Wednesday evening safely.
As a veteran journalist, I've covered war for many, many years, but to be there firsthand, to get the bomb warning systems that continued to go off was very alarming. The bomb warning systems would go off in Israel just like a tornado warning goes off in Alabama.
So we're glad that she was able to make it back safely. And it's just so interesting, her perspective, like she said, being a veteran journalist and having covered wars many times, but then actually being in that situation right there near the war. So glad she made it back safely. And she was a part of the first group of women from the conference who made it back safely. And medical cannabis will soon be available in Alabama, but there are only 5 doctors that are certified to recommend it to patients throughout the state. One of those doctors is in Huntsville, and he says that patients will have a high standard to meet before he breaks out his prescription pad. Dr. Clinton Scott Williams has been a family doctor in Huntsville for over 25 years and has a full book of patients he regularly sees. He said his certification was for them. He told 48 News that he's had people calling his office and even coming in person from all over Alabama looking for medical cannabis. But he said that he didn't get into medicine just to write cannabis prescriptions. Dr. Williams wanted another alternative solution to offer his patients who are in pain or suffering from depression, for people looking for a non-addictive solution. And so he refuses to just hand out this recommendation to anyone who isn't one of his regular patients, but he says he expects to see the certification become more commonplace as time goes on and opening the treatment up to more people.
I think it's a good thing, and I expect that as time goes by, it's going to expand, and I expect that expansion to be rapid. I think it's a good tool, just like a wrench is a good tool, but if it's misused, it can do damage.
And Dr. Williams, he also said that medical cannabis will not be the first tool that he reaches for. He said he will require patients to have gone through other treatment options before giving cannabis a try. And we also caught up with Mayor Brian Van Devender, just weeks after a life-saving procedure. And the mayor was airlifted to Nashville so doctors could relieve the pressure in his brain from an aneurysm. And so he says he remembers walking in the door after picking up his wife before he started seizing. And so when he got to the hospital, he was loaded onto a helicopter and left for Vanderbilt. And he spent the last few weeks recovering, saying he couldn't have done it without the community.
The overwhelming prayers from this community, the whole region, and the whole Shoals area is pretty amazing. And I truly believe that had a lot to do with it. Had everything to do with it, really.
And so he plans to be back in office later this month. And we're just so glad to know that he's doing well. And as he mentioned, just the power of community is everything, just to lift your spirits, lift your hopes up during such a scary time like that. So we're so glad that he's back and that he is doing well. And we're sure that our Shoals reporter, Aria Pons, will do a lot more catching up with him as he continues to recover and get back into office. And so coming up after the break, we'll check out some great events happening in the Huntsville and surrounding areas this weekend. Of course, weather pending, but we'll make sure that we'll cover any events that will hopefully stay on for the weekend. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 48 Recap. There's a couple of great events happening in the Huntsville and surrounding areas this weekend. Of course, as I mentioned before the break, weather pending, because with the rain and the storms coming, there's not a ton of events happening, and some may be canceled or postponed. But as of right now, there are a few good events that are still going on. And so happening right now is the Fire on the Mountain event at Brew It on the Mountain. And the historic cooks, they will transport you back to the 1800s as you see, hear, and smell their work as they prepare historic recipes over open fires and a cast iron cook stove. And so the blacksmiths will also be firing up the forges throughout the historic park to demonstrate this fascinating skill. So I think this will be such a cool experience for just all ages, a very unique experience just to witness. And so this event will last until 3 p.m. today, so there's still time to go out there, and tickets can be purchased at the venue. And if you're actually feeling, more of a music vibe today, or if you want to do something after you go out on the mountain, and if you're feeling some jazz music, you can check out the Jazz Caravan album release party and concert by Gino Rosario. And this will be an intimate album release concert with that jazz. And there will be unreleased music that can be heard live there. And tickets can be purchased at Eventbrite. And each ticket, it comes with catered food, one drink, and of course the front row to the powerful performance. So I feel like you can't beat that. You have food, drink, a great live performance, so definitely worth it. And that event is going to be from 7 to 10 this evening. And happening tomorrow is the Elevate the Stage event, where you can watch some NCAA gymnastics at the VBC Arena. And so the teams that are going to be performing at this gymnastics event include Clemson, Auburn, Georgia, and Pittsburgh. And so the event starts at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and tickets are available to purchase at the VBC box office and online at Ticketmaster.com. So if you're looking for a fun type of sporting event to check out tomorrow, this will be a really great one to go check out. And so these are just a few events happening this weekend. Again, I know with the rain and the storms, there isn't much going on, but there are definitely still a few things that you can go check out, or you can just enjoy a nice night in this weekend. And anytime throughout the week, if you are looking for something fun or a good event to go to, you can always check out Huntsville.org's event tab, and we are Huntsville.com's event calendar to see more events that are happening in the area. And that's all I have today for the 48 recap. Thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to tune into 48's Weather Extra segments. Our meteorologists go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. and every Saturday and Sunday in the morning and afternoon. Meteorologist Jeff Denours and forecaster Jada Russell will join you all this afternoon as those storms do come in, and they'll keep you all up to date and informed on the latest with today's weather. So tune in if you can. Whatever platform you're watching this on now is where you can watch if they do go on live. You can also go to their Facebook pages. They'll be uploading updates on there as well. And so again, our weather extra segments, they're just another way to give you all those extra insights on the latest weather forecast. So make sure to download our 48 apps and follow us on our Facebook and YouTube channel so you don't miss any updates on the news and weather. Again, especially on days like today for 48 First Alert weather days. And if you would like to stay connected with me throughout the week, please be sure to follow my Facebook page at Tatyana White, WAFF 48. I would absolutely love to talk with you all, connect with you if you have any tips that you would like to share for news. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. Take care, everyone, and stay safe and dry this weekend with the stormy and rainy weather. And again, stay tuned for our meteorologists and forecasters for anything severe that may come this evening. And I will see you all back here next Saturday, and I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend.